to us tonight, everybody. All right, right now on the show is the recent winning mayor-elect of Oswego. Please welcome my guest, Billy Barlow, everybody. All right, Billy, thank you so much for coming on the show. And by the way, congratulations on your win.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so my first question is, you're 25 years old. I'm just 21, and I hardly know how to do my own laundry. So, being the mayor, how are you going to be able to take on this huge responsibility?
Well, I think I wouldn't have ran and decided to campaign for mayor of Oswego if I didn't think I could do the job. So I have, obviously I was born and raised in the city of Oswego. I started a business when I went to school out at Arizona State. I moved back home to be closer to friends and family, expanded my family business here. I'm a third-generation small business owner. And then I ran for city council and won. So I'm finishing up my second term now before I'm sworn in as mayor. And I think that's provided me the experience to obviously run the city.
Okay, so Tuesday you said that age is just a number. So how important do you think it is for the youth to be involved in government?
I think it's very important. It's interesting because of course, we're getting the numbers back still today, and we're going through lists to see who voted and who didn't. And you see that older people tend to vote, and they arguably, not to be rude, have less to lose than younger people who essentially have 60 years of life ahead of them around here. So, you know, they should have a say in policy, in legislation, and how the city governs. So, you know, I encourage them to be involved in government and potentially run for office. I think youth is an asset. In fact, there's a 24-year-old, the mayor of Ithaca was elected at 24. He's 28 now. Plus, we have a congresswoman in the North Country. She was elected at 29, goes to Washington to represent her constituents. She's 30 years old now. So it's becoming a trend, and I think it's very important to continue that trend.
Well, speaking of young mayors, I guess after Tuesday's election, the youngest mayor in the United States history was elected. Brandon Paulin is his name, at age 19. So my question is, why couldn't you pull this off 6 years ago?
Yeah, that's. I'm not sure. I went to Arizona State and I was having a good time, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. You went to Arizona State, so that's a huge party school, right?
It's a lot of things.
All right. So two questions. Two questions. Were you in a frat, and did you own a funnel?
I was not in a frat, and I didn't own a funnel, but I was present when I saw funnels used.
Right.
But I never used a funnel.
Okay. I'm not a big fan of them either. But so, speaking of frats, what would you consider backing up Greek life in Oswego? Because obviously the school is kind of neck and neck with Greek life right now.
Well, I think a lot of people, you see the bad news from Greek life, and a lot of people don't really see or hear the good news. And the good news of Greek life is they come into our parks. I mean, they help the city out tremendously. They do a park cleanup day. In fact, I was knocking on doors, and up on, I believe it was Draper Street, there was a frat going through to homeowners and offering to clean their yards, and homeowners were happy and looking forward to it. And you know, I walked by and saw them doing it, so I know it happens. And you know, but the community needs to recognize that and know that that is actually happening. I don't think they do now. I think they hear the horror stories of what's on the news about Greek life, but it's just we need to raise awareness and make sure people understand that there are positives to Greek life in our community.
All right, so straight up, what is it that you want to change in Oswego? What needs fixing?
Well, I think my campaign really centered around quality of life and restoring our neighborhoods. We have the Oswego Renaissance Association in the city that's really gaining momentum, attacking blocks in the city that where the neighborhood has really kind of gone downhill, if you will. So I believe city government really hasn't helped assist or expedite that process. So really job number one when I get there and what I campaigned off of is you know, creating a code enforcement department that understands the needs of our neighborhoods and the people who live in our neighborhoods, go after those rental properties that are dilapidated, go after landlords who are consistently negligent, and you know, attack that one house on the block that brings down the quality of life for the rest of the residents and the property values.
All right. All right, so we have a question from Twitter from someone on campus.
Okay.
Not a very serious question, but she asks, will you be putting a Chipotle in Oswego?
I'll do my best.
Fajita Grill really isn't cutting it.
Fajita Grill might commit, but I'll see what I can do.
Okay. Not a big fan of Fajita Grill. All right, so you're
even the queso? I mean,
that's
no?
not the best, man.
Okay.
That's just my opinion. A lot of
you know,
people love
Taco Bell was interested last summer.
Were you implementing
Oh,
Taco Bell?
well, I was advocating for Taco Bell, but we didn't cut it.
Oh, okay. Well, you need votes for that, right?
Yeah.
So you're a Republican. So how did your views differ from your now defeated opponent, Democrat Amy Tresidder? Is that her name?
Yeah, that's her name. I think where Amy and I really kind of disagreed is, you know, I think quality of life and neighborhoods was really the focus of my campaign, and really taking back City Hall, if you will, putting in some strong, bold leadership in City Hall to where there's a mayor who takes the city of Oswego out on the road, showing developers and investors who may not know where even Oswego is, and just showing them what we have to offer. We need a strong mayor who does that. You know, I think right now people are starving for real, bold leadership in City Hall, and obviously I felt I could provide more leadership than my two opponents, and apparently the voters thought the same thing, so it worked out well.
All right, very cool. And before you leave, I just have one last question. Do you have any criticism or thoughts on the GOP presidential candidates running for the election right now?
I think it's too early to tell, but I do like Marco Rubio. I think he's intelligent. I think he's sharp. He's keeping his campaign positive, and I think he's kind of embarrassing any other candidate who tries to attack him. So, you know, I think he's my preference at this point, but it's very early.
Right.
Yeah.
So no Trump?
No, I'm not into Trump.
Okay. I feel like you can learn a lot about someone if they vote for Trump or not. It's like a first date question. All right. Thank you so much for being on the show.
All right.
I
Thanks
really
for having me.
appreciate it.
Thanks for reaching out. I look forward to doing more of this type of stuff.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And we'll be right back with more Ask Tonight, everybody.